Welcome, welcome, welcome. I would like to welcome you to another episode of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. And if you do me a favor, please subscribe to wherever you're listening. Please subscribe to wherever you're watching. It definitely means a lot to me. I wanted to get straight to it. I wanted to talk about Bill Russell. As people clearly know, Bill Russell passed away earlier this week, or I think this weekend, at the age of 88. I've been very vocal about how I feel Bill Russell's place would be if he played today, or if some of today's stars played in his era. I've been very vocal about that. And I think that that has come off as, I think a lot of people that watch, what I say and or listen to what I say about that commentary, I think people feel that I don't like or appreciate Bill Russell. And that's furthest from the truth. You see, I'm not naive in thinking, I'm not naive in the thought that there would be no basketball the way that I know it, the way that we see it today, if it wasn't for Bill Russell. You see, there's pioneers in every sport, in every walk of life, that has to go through things to make our way of life function how it is today. You see, Bill Russell, in my opinion, is arguably the greatest the greatest basketball figure the world has ever seen. I'm not saying he's the greatest basketball player, but the grounds that he broke, the importance that he is to the importance that he was and is to the game of basketball is unprecedented. You see, whether we talk about the color barrier for basketball, whether we talk about the color barrier for sports in general, Bill Russell was at the front lines of all of it. Put aside the fact that, he has 11 championships. I think he has 5 MVPs. He's the greatest winner in sports history. But Bill Russell, I'm not going to say Bill Russell made it okay to play basketball for a black person and be open about it. Because, of course, we know about segregation. We know about, how African Americans were viewed in America. And Bill Russell made it okay for black people to play alongside other races. So while I do this is an appreciation to Bill Russell. I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for putting your life on the line. Not saying you died because you played basketball, but putting your life on the line to make a game that has literally changed millions upon millions of people's lives. Think about that. I think about that every day. I do this podcast, which is a sports podcast. I work in sports. I work in, where I work is, of course, a sports network. And I always wonder what happens if people like Bill Russell, people like Jackie Robinson didn't want to take that, didn't want to go against the grain, didn't want to fight for what is clearly right, I always wondered that. Like, it's not just the athletes. It's not just the basketball players that actually play. It's the college basketball players, the high school basketball players, the sports analysts, the people that talk about it. Bill Russell is one of the greatest and most important sports figures in sports history, not just basketball. Because you think that if Bill Russell didn't do what he did, do you think that African Americans would be accepted in playing basketball alongside Caucasians? I don't know, man. Damn, I didn't try this joint. So yeah, I want to it's Bill Russell seemed like one of those figures that will last forever. Like I was shocked. Yes, I understand. Old age and everything, being 88, but I was shocked when I heard that he passed. I was like, Bill Russell, what? Because again, Bill Russell is will go down in my opinion as arguably the greatest and most important sports figure in sports history. It's not just basketball. Let me not disrespect his legacy. It's not just basketball. So, rest in peace, Bill Russell. You see his fingerprint on sports every day. When you look and you see players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, the Serena, the Williams sisters, Lewis Hamilton. Rest in peace, Bill Russell, and rest in peace to the legacy that you carry will live on and is going to live on. So I appreciate your service, and rest in peace, Bill Russell, who died at the age of 88. So it sucks that I have to move on to this, but this was the biggest thing sort of that happened. So the judge, I think Sue Jackson was her name, the judge that was proceeding over Deshaun Watson's case to see how much games he was going to get suspended for. She concluded her investigation, and it turns out that she gave Deshaun Watson 6 games, 6-game suspension. There's a lot to unpack here, and we're going to unpack it. First and foremost, I was shocked. Let me first say I was shocked at the fact that Deshaun Watson only got 6 games. Now, shouts out to Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark did remind me in the world of something, that these are all still allegations. There's no way of proving that this happened or that these happened. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't happen, but these are all allegations. All 4, they're all allegations. There's no proof to say that this really happened. They're allegations. So I do believe that had something to do going into this ruling, going into the fact of, Deshaun Watson only getting 6 games. With that being said, though, one of the biggest reasons why it shocked me, and I talked about this last episode, and I've talked about this on numerous occasions on this show, the league has a face problem. The league doesn't understand when it's time to wrap their arms around a community, wrap their arms around a situation. And this is the perfect example. You see, the league, which it wasn't the league that handed down the situation, but to give Deshaun Watson 6 games, and in comparison, there's people that, I know Calvin Ridley's name has been brought up a lot. Saying as Calvin Ridley did, sports betting on his own team and got a whole year. Deshaun Watson has 24 sexual assault allegations and only got 6 games. Which I think is the equivalent of what Ezekiel Elliott got for, I think flashing a girl. What's shocking to me and what's kind of confusing to me is the verbiage and the wording that Sue Jackson used to describe the findings that she found for Deshaun Watson, saying that it was egregious, saying that, he used his status to do these acts, that there indeed was something that happened. It feels like a stark contradiction to what you're saying in conjunction to the punishment. Because what Sue Jackson was saying was, what he did was, I think she even said, this is one of the most egregious things I have ever seen. In that there was something that happened. I mean, he was accused of ejaculating on women. He was accused of sexual inappropriate sexual advances. He was accused of sexual manipulation. He was now, for you to then pretty much say the findings that we figured out that this probably happened, and this is one of the most egregious cases I've ever seen. That's in context what Sue Jackson said in her report. To then give him 6 games. You see, the reason why we understand, and shouts out to Dan Orlowski, shouts out to Louis Riddick, we understand what the NFL cares about. I talked about, there's a clip of me as well. I talked about this when I was talking about Calvin Ridley. The NFL cares more about his image than usual sexual assault cases, because sexual assault cases or domestic violence cases has something to do with that person, not the league. That's why the league was so strong on disciplining Calvin Ridley, but only gave Deshaun Watson 6 games. Only gave a person like Big Ben 4 games, I believe. But one thing that I think the league doesn't get yet is that situations like this affect the brand, affect the league. Because now it's hard to say that you want everyone to watch, and it's hard to say that you care about everyone. Yet time and time again, you make it there's multiple upon multiple examples that you really don't care about how women feel about your product, because there are people that have been either accused or found guilty of assaulting women, sexually assaulting women, abusing women, disrespecting women. And they don't get the discipline that people that they should get. You see, one thing that's kind of it's been very prevalent to me in this whole situation is Deshaun Watson. You see, I always try to think what I would do in their shoes. So Deshaun Watson has been adamant from day one that he has not done anything. He's been adamant that he hasn't sexually assaulted, sexually abused. He hasn't done anything. But on the same hand, in the same token, he's also I haven't really seen a lick of remorse from what's going on. Now the league can still appeal, and it probably will appeal, and they're looking closer to around. The league wanted indefinite suspension, but once we found out that was getting taken off, the league wanted at least a year. And to get 6 games, they're probably gonna play ball, and if they do appeal and they win their appeal, they'll probably get about 10. But again, I do understand the fact that there's no proof in any of this. This is all accusations. This is pretty much he say, she say. But I am not stupid nor naive in thinking the fact that when there's this many people, this many women that pretty much have the same story and don't know each other, and you know it's bad, and you know that the person that we talk about maybe should have had a tougher penalty, when in this suspension they also saying that moving forward Deshaun Watson can only receive therapy treatment from the club's therapy, from the team, whatever team he's on, therapy or therapists. Meaning, he did something inappropriate on multiple occasions. One thing that I don't understand, and that's the hardest thing for me to understand. In one hand, you say, yeah, he did this, and it was crazy, and it was egregious, and it was vile. But then on the other hand, you give him a light sentence. Light. And then the owners, Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, putting out that statement, pretty much saying, Deshaun Watson's going to try everything he can to prove that he is that he cares about the community, and that this, another reason why this is frustrating to a lot of people and why this is confusing to myself is the reason why they picked Sue Jackson to be the outside arbitrator, to be the person to hand down the thing, is because they didn't want to mess this up, which I commend the league for. I commend this whole situation, because we've known time and time again that they've messed up on situations like this, situation dealing with women, situation dealing with domestic violence, situation dealing with sexual assault cases. They have royally fumbled the bag. And they were thinking that this was going to be a new age or they would be able to get this right. So they bring in Sue Jackson. They bring in somebody that is able to turn the tide. And getting rid of the quote unquote old process and the old practices. Yet and still, in this whole situation and the way that they came to this conclusion, they use the old practices. What the league is hoping, what Deshaun Watson's hoping, what the Cleveland Browns are hoping, is that this is going to blow over. Is that Deshaun Watson, who is one of the best quarterbacks in the league when playing, that the winning is going to solve everything, that this is going to blow over. But what the league is underestimating, just like they knew that they needed to go a different route and they needed to use the new practices. This is a new age of people. This is new for them, because this is not going to go away. Now, it's very disheartening after seeing the ruling that went down and seeing everything that happened, and then the next thing I see is Deshaun Watson getting mugged by fans and signing autographs and this, that, and the third. That's what the league is hoping. What the league is going to do is they're going to focus on that. They're going to focus on the fans. They're going to focus on the people that still love and have aspiration for them, and they're going to center them and target them. That's why the first videos we see after this of Deshaun Watson is signing autographs for a bunch of kids, for a bunch of Cleveland Browns fans. But trust and believe that there is a larger, louder community of people that is upset about this. Now, my take is this. I don't know what happened in those hotel rooms. I don't know what happened between Deshaun Watson and those massage therapists. But one thing that I do know is you'll be hard-pressed for me, or you'll be hard-pressed to go anywhere and find 24 people that have damn near the same story, and they're all lying. I know this. People felt uncomfortable after dealing with Deshaun Watson. I know that for sure. There were women that felt uncomfortable and uneasy after dealing with Deshaun Watson. To me, that's enough to at least issue an apology to those women and show some remorse. Now, again, the league is more than likely going to appeal. And at that point, it's up to Roger Goodell to figure out how many games they're going to get. The NFLPA has already come out and said that they're not going to appeal the situation, because this is the best case scenario for Deshaun Watson. Only missed 6 games out of a 17-game season, and you still get to play Week 13, which is in Houston. And they don't touch your money. His money is not affected at all. This is just another example of people not respecting women. You don't have to like women. You don't have to care about women. You don't have to give two goddams about the struggles and the plight that women deal with every day. You don't have to care. That's your prerogative. You don't have to. But at least respect them enough to understand when something isn't right, and this isn't right. Now, again, I understand what Ryan Clark is saying, and I completely agree with Ryan Clark saying is that we don't know what happened. We don't know. The only people that know what happened is Deshaun Watson and whoever, the massage therapist that was in there at the time. But one thing that we do know is that after their encounter, 24 women felt uncomfortable, felt disrespected, felt like they were sexually misappropriated by Deshaun Watson. Felt like they were belittled. Felt like they were in an uncomfortable, unwinnable situation. And you know what's worse? You know what the worst part about it is? And why that this is what the ramifications of this really is you just give credence and you just admit pretty much why a lot of women don't come out. Because what's the point of coming out and telling your truth and then pretty much getting told, it's not that much. And this ruling pretty much is. This ruling is pretty much saying, I mean, we know he did something, but it wasn't that serious. Like y'all might be sizing it a little bit. That's crazy, bro. So again, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I don't know how many games he's officially going to get, because I do believe that the league is going to appeal it. But the last thing I'll say on this, and I share the sentiment with damn near everybody that has spoken out about this. For a person to have 24 sexual misconduct allegations against him and has settled in court with most of them, 24 sexual or sexually inappropriate actions against a said person. 6 games seems mighty light. That's all I'm saying. Moving forward. So try to change the mood. Debo Samuels gets 3 years. I believe it's 58 million, 75 million. I think 58 is fully guaranteed. A 3-year extension. There's 2 reasons usually why a player demands a trade. Either they feel they're disrespected somewhere, or they just don't like the team that they're on. Let's Debo Samuels falls into category 1. Debo Samuels felt disrespected by the 49ers, not because they don't think he's a great player, but because of how they were using him. On top of that, contract negotiations. See, they were using him as a hybrid of running back / wide receiver, kind of like what they do with Cordell Patterson. The only difference is Debo Samuels is better than Cordell Patterson. And one of the biggest reasons why players don't like doing that is, one, it takes a lot off you, and it takes years off your game. I mean, that's yeah. Getting all those, I mean, you're getting hit constantly, whether as a running back, whether as a wide receiver. So then when you go to the negotiation table in the contract saying, hey, I feel like I've exceeded my rookie contract, and they try to lowball you because they try to say, well, you're not really a wide receiver, you're not really a running back, we don't know how, so we'll pay you something in the middle when you deserve way more than that. You feel disrespected, so you're going to say, hey, I want to trade out of here. And how do you rectify disrespect? Paying somebody what they're worth, or what they feel they're worth. Debo Samuels gets a 3-year, I think 58 fully guaranteed, or 58 guaranteed $1 million extension. I think that the 49 it wasn't just pivotal for the 49ers to make this deal right for Debo Samuels, because the last thing you want to do is trade a very young, a young star in the game. I mean, we'll talk about MLB Trade Deadline and Juan Soto in a second, but that's the last thing you want to do, especially when you have them in the contract, and especially when you can pay them. It's not like the 49ers are hurting for money. They just needed to meet him where he was. And I also think he has a $1 million plus rushing extensive rushing incentive as well. You see, not only was this important to make this right for Debo Samuels, this was important to make this right for the offense in general, because when you have a young quarterback like Trey Lance, the last thing you want to do is take his number one weapon away. Now, yes, Brandon Ayuk is good. George Kittle is great as a tight end, but Debo Samuels is what unlocks this 49ers offense. And we saw that last year against teams like the Rams, against the Green Bay Packers. Some of the biggest plays in the playoffs was Debo Samuels making a play. So shouts out to Debo Samuels for getting exactly what he feels he deserved and what he is deserved. Shouts out to this offseason. I mean, when you look, Debo Samuels, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown. These players, wide receivers are getting paid. People are starting to understand the importance of the wide receiver. I get the fact that, their job their job can't be done at a high level without a good quarterback. I get that. But a lot of people don't talk about the relationship between a quarterback and a wide receiver. Again, the best example I can give you is Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. How much better Josh Allen has been alongside a number one wide receiver, which is Stephon Diggs. Or I can even give you Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, and how much better Kyler Murray looks and plays on the field with DeAndre Hopkins. It's something to be said when you have a elite wide receiver. It's like it's a blanket. It's a comfort blanket. Like, hey, we're gonna be good. We have Debo Samuels. We have Devontae Adams. We have a great wide receiver. We're gonna be all right. So, shouts out to Debo Samuels, man. This is huge for him. Definitely well deserved. This is huge for the 49ers. The last thing you want is a first year starting quarterback. I mean, Trey Lance did start a couple games. He didn't look that good, but this is the first year where the offense is his. You don't want to take away his number one target. That's the last thing you want to do. So shouts out to them, and I'm excited to see what the 49ers look like moving forward, this year with Trey Lance, with Debo Samuels, with some of the pieces that they brought in. So I'm excited. Moving forward, so starting, I think, next episode maybe, or maybe next week, I'm going to start breaking down the divisions. I talked about it last episode, but I think next week I'm going to start really breaking down divisions. I'm going to have people come on, and we'll break down. Every episode is going to be a different division. But until then, I've been doing my top 10s. I did top 10 quarterback, top 10 wide receiver, top 10 running back, top 10 tight ends, and now I want to do my top 10 defenses. Now, these defenses is wildly important. They say defense wins championships, and you understand that when you look at the last few plays against, with the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs. It wasn't arguable. It was the greatest game that we had last year, and one thing that the Bills ultimately lost in overtime, but one thing the Bills said was, if we would have got one or two stops, we would have won the game. Same thing for the Super Bowl, Cincinnati Bengals and the LA Rams. The Rams were able to get those defensive stops at the end of the game against Joe Burrow. that's when they say defense. Yes, it's good having a great offense and a high-powered offense. I mean, the Rams did win a championship Super Bowl last year, and they had, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Valdez, Van Jefferson, Odell Beckham Jr. They had a high-powered Cam Akers. But it was the defense that ultimately sealed the game for them. Like I said, it was Aaron Donald. It was Von Miller. It was players like that, Jalen Ramsey. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give my top 10 defenses. And let's start with number 10. Number 10, I have the Indianapolis Colts. When you go out and make a move like letting go and trading away Carson Wentz, getting Matt Ryan, you make that move because you feel like this team is close. This team is good enough to at least vie for its Super Bowl, which is true. I mean, if you think about it, this team has Stephon Gilmore, DeForest Buckner, Njoku, Obigwo, I forgot his name. And they had, what's his name now? Shaquille Leonard. Like, that is a front for you. And it's going to be hard pressed to do anything when you have a former defensive player of the year in Stephon Gilmore, and you also have Buckner and Leonard. It's going to be tough doing anything. I mean, one of the biggest pluses about the Colts last year was their defense, and the fact that even though their offense was up and down, their defense stayed solid, and their defense was one of the biggest reasons why they were in position to make the playoffs last year. So I have the Colts defense at number 10. Number 9, I have the Broncos defense. When you have Patrick Surtain Jr., you also have Williams, Kareem Jackson, Jonathan Simmons. It's gonna be, you also have Bradley Chubb. It's this look. And you signed Randy Gregory, which I completely forgot about. The Denver Broncos have huge Super Bowl aspirations. Bringing in a player like Russell Wilson does that. And one of the biggest reasons I believe Russell Wilson decided to go here is because this is probably the best team he's been on since the Legion of Boom days of Seattle. And this defense, look, I understand last year it dealt with a lot, but last year it dealt with a lot of injuries as well, which is why it may not have been that highly ranked last year. But when you're getting all of them back, again, when you have Patrick Surtain Jr., who was in the running for rookie, if Minka Parsons didn't have such a great rookie year, Patrick Surtain could have been the defensive rookie of the year, along with, again, now Randy Gregory, who was very pivotal and very important for the Cowboys, and Bradley Chubb. It's going to be hard pressed to if this defense plays to their potential as well as the offense, it would be hard pressed for anybody to beat the Broncos. So I have the Broncos at number 9. Surprisingly, and it was actually surprising to me when I was doing this rankings, is I have the Ravens at number 8. The reason why I have the Ravens at number 8 is because let's not forget how many people were hurt last year. It was a carousel of injuries, man. Whether it was Peters got hurt, Humphreys got hurt. There was so many people that got hurt. You get them back. You also, and you draft Kyle Hamilton. You also get Marcus Williams, and you also have Odef Owe. I know I said your name wrong. I apologize, brother. You had this. I mean, you still have Calais Campbell, who's probably the largest player in the NFL. This team, when healthy, is a good defense. It's a great defense. It's just they need, again, last year I think was an anomaly. No one's gonna get that hurt. That was crazy how hurt they got. Like, it would from every position. Hell, Lamar Jackson even got hurt. It was just with everybody back healthy, with getting Kyle Hamilton in the draft, even though there is a video of Kyle Hamilton getting just torched, I do think that I have the Ravens at number 7. At number 8. Number 7, I have the Saints. A lot of people are just giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this division, which I understand. You have the players that you have. Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. And they also are 2 years removed from winning a Super Bowl. So I get that. But let's not forget, you still have Marcus Lattimore, Paulson at Debo. You have Cam Jordan. Damn. You have this team is good. One of the biggest compliments that the Saints had last year was the Saints were one of the best defenses in the league. It was just because of the injuries to Jameis Winston and that offense, it was really hard to keep pace. But the Saints had one of the best defenses of last year, and I think that they're only going to get better. So I have the Saints at number 7. At number 6, I have the Rams. Now, I understand it's like, wait, they just won a Super Bowl. That might be too low. One of the biggest, let's not forget, majority of the season last year, they were not that good defensively. Yeah, they had, Von Miller had his moments, and of course you have arguably the best player in the NFL, period, in Aaron Donald. But outside of that, yeah, you have Jalen Ramsey. But that's, their defense was not that good last year. It really started clicking towards the end. Now that you lose Von Miller, but you do bring in Bobby Wagner, which is huge. I'm excited to see what this brings. Again, you're coming off a Super Bowl. You have the best player in the NFL. You have arguably another top 5 defender in Jalen Ramsey. Let's see what if Bobby Wagner can get you anything from his heydays in Seattle, you're in good business. And again, this defense just won a championship. But again, the reason why I have them at number 6 is because I think losing Von Miller was huge, and then that's no offense to anybody that's still there. And I do want to see what Bobby Wagner, because Bobby Wagner didn't look great leaving Seattle, even though he did have a decent season. But I can't remember. They got rolling. They got hot at the best times, at the right time. And if they can continue that, and the beginning of the season, a little bit towards the middle of the season, was more of a aberration than the norm, then I'm rolling with it. But right now I have them at 6. At number 5, I have the Chargers. The biggest reason why I have the Chargers at number 5 and not higher is because there's a lot of things we don't know yet. On paper, they should be a huge. They should be a lot higher than number 5. When you get Khalil Mack, when you get J.C. Jackson, who is arguably the best safety in the league, and you pair them next to Joey Bosa and Derwin James, and you have Asante Samuel Jr., that alone should propel you a lot higher, especially when you see that how much they struggled last year in certain situations. The only problem is I do want to see what happened, how they look coming together. This is a lot of people think that this team can win the Super Bowl, which I understand. But again, Khalil Mack didn't look the same coming out of Chicago. I don't know if that was due to Chicago or just because he's just getting older. So I do want to see what he looks like next to Bosa. I want to see what Derwin James and J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel. I want to see what all these players look like together. If they can gel and look great, they can arguably have a top 3 defense. I do want to see, again, what they look like together because they're all coming together. It was just with Asante Samuels, it was Derwin James and Joey Bosa were the only ones that, when you add J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack, I want to see how they all gel. So I have them at number 5. Number 4, I have the Bucks. You have Shaq Barrett. You did lose JPP, which is huge, but you still have Levante Davis. You still have Devin White. You still have you get Akeem Nicks, which is huge. You have Via Veda, Logan Hall, Raheem, Nuez, Roach. I mean, William Golson. You have a squad. This defense pretty much won you a Super Bowl 2 years ago. And while yes, you lose JPP, which is huge, you still have huge. I mean, you still have great. You still have your captains. You still have David and White. You also have Barrett. So and getting Akeem Hicks was huge for this team, especially alongside Vita Veda. This is a big defense, and this is a fast defense too. So I have the Bucks in number 4. Number 3, I have the Packers. Now, the Packers are going to look drastically different this year than they did last year, especially after losing Devontae Adams. But when you have Zaire Alexander, I mean, you draft Quay Walker. You have Devondre Campbell, which is huge. I mean, this is going to be a squad. This team, this defense can, if everyone stays healthy and everyone plays how they're supposed to play, this defense could be the best defense in the league. That's how good I have them, and that's how good they can be, in my opinion. It's just, we need to see it, and they need. I mean, you have arguably one of the best defenders in all of football in Zaire Alexander leading the way. You have Preston Smith. It's gonna be this is a good defense, and that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people aren't giving excuses to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers if they do stumble this year, because their defense is so good, and their defense has the potential of being the best defense in the league. So I have them at number 3. Number 2, I have the 49ers. Look, you have Nick Bosa. You have, D Ford. Well, I think they let him go, actually. But you have Nick Bosa. You have Fred Warner. This defense, now you have Kavarius Ward. Look, this defense was tough. This defense was this is the biggest reason why they made it to the NFC Championship, because of their defense. And now you have a fully healthy Nick Bosa, which he wasn't healthy in the playoffs. And see what DeMeco Ryans can draw up as a defensive coordinator. Look, man, you also have a healthy Justin Vernet. It's going to be tough. So and again, this is the same defense that propelled the 49ers to the NFC Championship. So, so I have the 49ers at number 2. And number 1, and arguably one of the biggest reasons why they're Super Bowl favorites, is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, getting Von Miller was a huge get, because they don't expect Von Miller to make huge. I mean, they don't expect Von Miller to make 1,000 plays. Like, they expect him to make big plays at big moments. You also have All-Pro cornerback Tre'Davious White, and who's grossly underrated. I mean, this team is this team, a lot of people have them winning the Super Bowl because this is probably the best overall team. When you have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox, now you have O.J. Howard at the offensive side of the ball, Gabriel, and then on the defensive side, now you have Von Miller, you have White, Porter. Look, this team, yeah. You also have Quan Jones, Tim Settle, Jordan Phillips. Yeah, this is gonna be a squad, man. This is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people have the Bills winning it all, because of how balanced they are. So number 10, my top 10, number 10 is the Colts, number 9 the Broncos, number 8 the Ravens, number 7 the Saints, number 6 the Rams, number 5 the Chargers, number 4 the Buccaneers, number 3 the Packers, number 2 the 49ers, and number 1 the Buffalo Bills. Those are my top 10 defenses. Let me know what you think. Who do you think I left out? Who do you think's too high? Who do you think's too low? Let me know. And lastly, before we go, man, we're at the MLB trade deadline, and we've seen movement everywhere. But of course, as I'm talking, it hasn't happened yet. But we're waiting for the biggest domino to drop, to fall, which is Juan Soto. A lot of people are saying that the Padres are pretty much leading the could get Juan Soto train. I don't know. I know when you have the possibility of getting one of the best players in all of baseball and he's still young, you make that move. That'd be also crazy if the Padres do get him, because you have Juan Soto. You also have Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis. That'd be crazy. I know that Shohei Ohtani was close to getting traded, but he wasn't. I mean, he didn't. So, yeah, if, the domino is, of course, Juan Soto, and we have to see what happens and where he goes. But right now, they're saying the Padres are kind of leading the pack, and that team would be scary if they get Juan Soto. And I think they're talking about getting Bell, too. So, let's see how it is. I know Joe Hader, got traded, which was from the Milwaukee the Brewers. Yeah, the Brewers. Is it Milwaukee Brewers? Yeah, from the Brewers. He got traded. I know that was big. I think he got traded to the Padres too. So that's crazy. So if the Padres get Hader, they also have Machado, they also have Tatis, and they get Juan Soto and Bell. Yeah, that'd be crazy. But hey, we'll see. There you have it, man. That's been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I appreciate you guys. If you want a Unpopular Podcast shirt, hoodie, sweater, long sleeve joggers, the link is in the description below. I have multiple different colors, multiple different designs. Get your Unpopular Podcast merch today. Also, please subscribe to whoever you're listening. Please subscribe to whoever you're watching. I'm definitely trying to get the algorithms going, and I need you guys' help. Share, like, subscribe, comment. Let's try to get this going. And until next time, much love.